A very good morning, Mark. Here, Monday, January the 19th, 8 a.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. GMT. Start of the US session. Couple of things to bear in mind today. Public holiday in the US. Stock markets closed. Martin Luther King Day. The other thing to note is the economic forum going on in Switzerland, in Davos. And I think Greenland, the issue of Greenland, front and center, bearing in mind that you have the NATO representatives from Europe that'll be there and the US. So I think the market could be a little bit edgy as far as any potential rhetoric, and we'll watch out for that. Let's have a look at the US dollar index. US dollar index gapped lower to start, considerably lower after closing last week 99.17 and opened up to start the new week at 98.89 at the start of the Asian session. Hang around where it opened for now. Small green candlestick, slight demand for US dollars, or rather the sell-off isn't continuing, or the gap lower not continuing for now. I've got support at 98.84. I've got resistance at 99.08. US dollar buyers of US dollar, the US dollar index will look back up to the 99 level. Sellers, of course, will looking to maintain below the 99 and looking to test the support level. Let's have a look at the S&P futures market with the markets being closed. Another big gap lower to open the trading week, the futures market, 6,935 resistance and the open, and I've got support sitting at 6,890. We'll see if the activity today in the futures market, based on the fact that we're only dealing with the futures market, moves could be sharp. I'd keep a watch out for that. The 6,900 level for now looks to be where things stand going into the US session. Gold, big gap up to start the week. And that gap up took us to a new all-time record high. 4,682 is my resistance, 4,651 is my support, bearing in mind it closed last week just under 4,600. We'll see whether this can be maintained if buyers add to or at least maintain these high levels here, 4,680 around that area, or if sellers do step in and look back down at this 4,600. Doji-like candles to start, trying a bit higher and lower, but sitting at the open for now, 4,670. Oil, after last week's very volatile moves and erratic moves in both directions, sitting relatively flat today at $63.78. I've got support at $63.26. I've got resistance at $64.36. I'm saying relatively quiet, but when I say relatively quiet, the Iranian situation, I'm talking in terms of the markets and particularly the oil price for now. We'll watch for more rhetoric, see what comes out of the the White House particularly, and that certainly will have an effect on the price. Buyers, if there are going to be moves in either direction, and particularly to the upside, I would expect they could be sharp, and we could see prices get back up to the high 60s like we saw last week. Bitcoin, buyers unable to hang on to what they started last week. We saw a nice rally last week from the low 90s all the way up to 98,000. Buyers weren't able to maintain. Sellers did step in, and that continued over the weekend. I've got resistance at 93,700. I've got support at 91,900. Pretty narrow range here, roughly a $2,000 range. Has been a bit of a bounce up. You can see that. And that's in the Asian European session going into the US session. We'll see whether buyers can continue that with that, if there's going to be demand for Bitcoin, and buyers will look to break above the open price and the resistance at the 93.7, get back up to this area where buyers took the Bitcoin to last week, 97, 98,000, or if this downtrend continues. You can see EMAs have crossed to the downside, and sellers look back down at this 90,000 area. Good trading. Keep that discipline. I'll see you at end of day session.